Hello, welcome to Intuitive Insights. I am your no BS woo woo coach, Megan McDonough, here to make intuition practical and applicable in your everyday life. Today, I am coming to you with a little insight and a little offering. It's 2026, Universal One number in numerology. So big new beginnings, new cycle is starting. And in astrology, the new cycle is starting. I have been having some pretty interesting and vivid dreams lately. And I'm wondering who out there has as well. Please let me know what's going on with you in your dreams or your intuition. I feel like we are all kind of feeling this transition under our feet, and it almost feels like, the way I see it is like we're all in a sandstorm and we can't figure out where to go next. Like you can't trust your eyes anymore, right? In the sandstorm, because you can't see clearly. So all the information that's swirling around, none of it can be relied on, because it's like we're surrounded in illusion or static or chaos or aversion, disruption. When I anchor into how I'm feeling intuitively, that's kind of what comes up. And so then the natural reaction after that is, so now what? What do we do? How do you move forward? What do you do? And the thing that I keep coming back to, that keeps popping up, is like an anchoring or stillness, quiet listening, like a retreat internally to realign with the soul, realign with your intuition. I feel like the intuition is the voice of the soul. That's my perspective. That's led from the heart. But in this day and age, it's very hard to truly trust our intuition because we're not trained to. We're not supported in exploring an intuitive response. Always. Not saying we're not ever, just it's not as common. It's not as common as logic or cerebral navigation, right? But if you're familiar with, talking about, there's been a lot of, in the metaphysical world, there's been a lot of talk about people becoming awake or tapping into their higher frequency, evolved selves, waking up. And I do see this and I feel this, even just generationally, like when I was younger, I remember when I got into yoga and I was like 18 and I was talking about it with my friends and they were like, why is she so weird right now? Know what I mean? Like it was just yoga. It was just yoga. It wasn't like, it wasn't like I was talking about, I don't know what. But even the young kids now, I mean like Gen Z, right? They have no problem looking at astrology or energy healing as a viable, solution or option for healing or navigation of self. So the judgment around our energetic part of self as a healing aspect, or just as a recognized aspect of self, is becoming more prevalent. More people are also becoming interested and hearing this calling of like, my intuition wants to speak. It's getting louder and louder, and I don't know how to communicate with it. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to trust. I don't have techniques to tap in when I need it. I don't know if I should trust it because my mind and my training, my cerebral training, gets in the way and says, this isn't logical. I shouldn't do this. But like I'm feeling this strong pull towards something, like a calling. In my experience, I've always had this feeling, and I believe we all do. I believe that intuition is an innate part of our beings. Like I said before, it's the voice of the soul. I also believe that we are both physical and energetic beings. We're finite and infinite. The infinite being the soul and the intuition's voice, and the finite being the body and the brain and logic. And how to integrate those two things and align them in this body on this earth is becoming more, it feels like, and I have to say, I just feel like I know that it is becoming more and more important to understand how to align, how to anchor, and how to trust yourself. When you trust yourself, anxiety melts away. I had this visual the other day. It was in a yoga class, but I feel like it works just as easily for intuition. But thinking of yourself or imagining yourself as a wick of a candle. And in the yoga class, I had mentioned that you just allow the tension of the wax to melt away. In this analogy with intuition, you are the wick and allow the fear of the mind, anxiety of the mind to just melt away. How do you do that? Here's my offering today. I'm very passionate about tapping into our own intuitive selves, especially now. Trust and faith and love and connection are much more needed now than ever. And it's about the energetics. It's about the frequency. It's about the energy, right? Underneath it all. The frequency underneath it all. It's not about the right or the wrong. It's about the frequency. Because when we start thinking of right and wrong, we are now dividing ourselves, separating, which is the opposite of connection. We're judging, which is the opposite of unconditional love. We're fearing because we don't trust what we value as untrue, correct, right, what have you. So the antidote is trust, love, faith, connection, that frequency. You could say, I'm trusting and loving whatever, but I'm still pointing my finger. I'm still holding a hot coal, ready to throw it at what I don't believe in or what I see as wrong. And the only person getting burnt is you, because your frequency is not that of which you desire, which is, hopefully, love, connection, trust. So starting January 20th, I'm offering a 3-month live virtual group course to train your intuition. It's a relationship. And in all relationships, how you connect, how you communicate, and how you balance your relationship is of utmost importance. So in these 3 weeks, or 3 months, we're going to peel back the layers of calcification, of fear that surround our intuition. Then the second month, we're going to reorganize and translate and realign our relationship to intuition. And then in the third month, then we take that relationship and translation and put it into action. How do we communicate? How do we move forward? How do we take the messages we are receiving and transmute them, translate them, transform them into action, into connection, love, and trust and faith? It's very hard right now not to get pulled into anxiety, not to get pulled into separation. And I truly believe that this is the anchor, this is the antidote to all of those frequencies that disarm our empowerment, that disarm our magic. This is part of our magic. Synchronicity is magic. Communicating without cerebral knowledge, that's magic. In my book, I don't know. This course is called Trust You Are a Spiritual Badass. Yeah, you are. It's intuitive mastery for creative empaths. Creative empaths because I believe intuition is innate in all of us. I believe that creativity is an expression of our intuition in action. And empaths, because you are already feeling these messages. You are already feeling this energy, but you may or may not know how to clear it. You may or may not know how to discern your information, your energy, your intuition from your fear or from other people's energy. You may not have a way to communicate with your intuition and how to move through the world in alignment with it. So that is what this is for. Once you learn how to communicate with your intuition and put it into action, then we have a place to play, to explore, to practice using our tools and connecting to others, digging into trust, changing our frequency away from fear and anxiety and towards trust, faith, love, connection. The practical implications of this training is alignment. It's energetic, but the energetic pours into your everyday. Trust in yourself, tools for how to get unstuck, how to anchor into confidence and release doubt and fear, how to trust with ease and knowing you are magic. Make some magic today. The course, Trust You Are a Spiritual Badass, starts January 20th. You can find all information on my website, magnetizeyourlight.com. I would love to have you in my group. We need more of this energy in the world. We need more of this, your magic. All right, go make your magic. I'll see you soon.